Unfortunately, I can't tell my African American brothers and sisters that when African people come to America, expect them to build with you. No, we're here to take. That's the reality. When we come there, don't expect us to build. Build America for who? You have a lot we are here to take. That's the truth. And I know I might sound arrogant, but I'm not a person who sugarcoats the truth. So when we come to your countries, just know we are not here to have mercy on you. We are here to take.
Immigrants don't respect Americans or American culture. I am half West African on my mom's side, you guys. And if there's one thing that I've learned from dealing with immigrants, not all of them, but most of them, it's that they don't respect American culture and they don't really respect American people. And especially African immigrants don't respect American culture. They think Americans are dumb. They think Americans have no culture in the first place. They think they are lazy and entitled. And the true essence of why they come to America is to make enough money to either send back home or plant their children here, and then they could send money back home and then pretty much leave and go back to their country just like my mom did. Now, do I think that's the worst possible thing that immigrants that come to this country can do? No. But as an American citizen who has been born in this country, who this is the country I've only ever known, I don't think it's very fair to the American people that we house people and welcome people who just come here and make illegal families and make illegal money just to go ship it back home and then never, ever, ever come back ever again after like 50 years. I think the jobs that these immigrants take up can be given to Americans. I think the houses that they take up could be given to Americans. And that's why I feel as if that as an American, in this current situation, you should kind of be insulted. So the question is, what was the point of this post? The point of this post was to make Americans realize that having empathy for people who come from the third world isn't really always what's best for you. Because most of the people who come to this country aren't really looking to serve America. They're really just looking to serve themselves, their families, their culture, their ethnicities, and that's pretty much it.
Hey, that was very well said, sir. Very well said. And you're right on point. Not all of the immigrants feel this way, and I understand that. But that is a thing. A black person, well, an African person, I put it to you that way. An African person told me that they don't like African American culture. Straight up.
I don't like it here in Atlanta. I don't like the African American culture. It's too much. It's too much for me.
That's not uncommon. Here's my thing. You don't have to like us in America or our culture. But if you want to be here, you gotta assimilate to what we do. If you can't just behave how we behave and get with the program, then you're in the way. You could go back. And if you're here illegally, then you can't tell me nothing. I don't care if you don't like Americans, if you don't like this, you don't like that, you got any kind of complaints, okay, so what? You're not even following the law. Go home.
I am glad that this is being expressed by my African brothers and sisters. They said it. They are Africans. They're not black Americans. If it was black Americans, your Africans will be commenting down there in the comment section saying that they hate you. But at this moment, it's being exposed by Africans. They're saying it out loud. The goal of Africans going to America is very simple. Go there, make as much money as possible, send back home, don't assimilate, don't associate with black Americans, do whatever possible to take over. This is the goal. And whenever black Americans say it, y'all throw stones at them. I want us to watch these other clips, listen to my brothers and sisters commenting on this. I'm coming back at the end with my own insightful commentaries. The video is for awareness and educational purpose. If you all have got opinions on this, drop them down there in the comment section. Let's get into it.
The African immigrants that are here, that crossed that border illegally, and that are still trying to fight to come here, they are going to eventually take over our communities completely. They invest heavy in real estate. They go to our HBCUs. And if it wasn't for Black Americans, you know, we made it possible. Our forefathers, our ancestors made it possible for Black people throughout the diaspora to come to America and prosper. But they have no intentions on coexisting with Black Americans. No, They come here saying, yeah, we're here in solidarity, but the African immigrants are building their own communities and taking over ours.
How do you come to my country and tell me what I should be doing?
You feel this is your country?
It is 100%.
Why do you feel
Is this
it's
your country?
You know how I feel it's our country?
Is it your country?
You know why I feel that way?
That it is your country?
Yeah, I mean, black people's.
It's a
Notice how he said black people and not African people. He knows there's a difference.
It's America, your country?
Yes, it is.
And you're black, right?
And we built it.
And why do you feel that?
Because we built it.
You didn't build it?
Yeah, black people built.
So, it's, what do you think about the blacks who call themselves African Americans and they were born in America? Is that dumb?
No, it's not.
You got to be out of your minds to be
No.
born in a country but call yourself something else. You got to be
African-American.
dumb,
You
right?
just try to have a connection.
To
So-
what?
To Africa.
Lies. We don't want a connection to Africa. They want a connection to America. That's why they want us to be African Americans so damn bad.
The folks in Africa don't even like black Americans.
We know that.
But the folks in Africa don't even like black Americans.
We know that. I'm African.
So why are you
You know I'm
connected-
African, right?
Where you from?
Nigerian.
So you born over there?
I was born here.
The immigrants coming over, whether that's from the Caribbean or from Africa, have now, in the modern time, a different mindset than what they used to have. Now they're coming over with this kind of like takeover. I'm not leaving my nation. I'm not abandoning the loyalty I have to the Caribbean. I'm not abandoning the loyalty I have to Haiti or Jamaica or Nigeria or whatever. Before, when they were coming over here, they were like, okay, I'm black. All that Jamaican, Haitian stuff, I can keep that on the back burner because I'm still that, but I'm going to fall in line with the locals here, okay? Now you're having people who are coming over here. Now they don't want to fall in line. They want this to be Nigeria 2.0, like Essence Fest. They want this to be the 2.0 version of their homeland, all right? So they still cling on to the nationalistic loyalty from their homeland, a homeland they don't want to go back to, mind you, a homeland they don't want to go back to. I saw this one video of this Haitian woman. She's all like, black Americans couldn't survive in Haiti. Then she made a follow-up because she was getting checked. She was all like, Haitians, sometimes we don't have electricity. The electricity just goes out and you can't use no refrigerator, no microwave, no this, no that. I'm all like, do you think that we couldn't survive without electricity for like a night? She further went on to say how because we have electricity all year long, we're privileged. And see, that's the thing. We can't be privileged. Privilege is something that is given to you. That is something granted to you, bestowed upon you. Everything we have is things that we've worked for. They're coming over here not having what we have and seeing we have it, so they think it's privilege. No, it's not privilege. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for us to get here. We're still working, but there's still a lot of stuff that we have to recognize for us to get here, for you to get here, for you to benefit. None of this stuff was just bestowed on us by some gracious overseer, white lord, and whatever the case is, like they believe. Okay, and with that amount of unappreciative attitude towards us is why they don't mind tethering.
You guys are not oppressed. You're lazy. That's all it is. Go get jobs. Work. I am oppressed. The white people are oppressing me. Why are they to oppress you? You guys are not oppressed. You're lazy. That's all it is. Go get jobs. Work. I am oppressed. The white people are oppressing me. Why are they to oppress?
This video really illustrates how a lot of immigrants from different nations would come here and, behave and what they thought about Black Americans, right? What they thought. It's coming out now because we're not supporting a lot of the stuff that's going on, but a lot of people from primarily West Africans, they love to say that we are them and they are us. It is some very weird tether shit going on there. We're all Black. Everybody's Black. It is the wildest thing to see that switch. But before they were caping for the white T-man, right? The one that they say that we're so afraid of. But that's the deal y'all made. Y'all made a bad deal there. Y'all signed up to his buffer class program and you took advantage of it. And now you want solidarity with the people that you shit on? No, thank you. No, thank you. Hard pass. That's what it was. That's what it was in 2020. I mean, and the true colors come out still. There's no unity there. There's no alignment whatsoever with takers, right? So let's be at that wow with it. You guys did not address your own corruption and your own issues in your own homeland, and you came over here. You know, you were a little puppet, right? We were lazy, right? Now you're over here.
Affects African Americans in a very interesting way, which is actually both the universities and the corporate employers are literally, this is true, they literally import Africans so that they don't have to hire African Americans because they still count as black. There was a great story. The thing that woke me up to this, there was a story in the New York Times 20 years ago about Harvard. This is Harvard admits, black students, but which ones? Back when the New York Times could talk about these things honestly. And it quoted actually Henry Louis Gates and Lonnie Guinier at the time at Harvard Law School, basically observing that African Americans were not benefiting from an affirmative action because Harvard had figured out that they could import Nigerians. Right, and again, it's just like, great, the Nigerians are great, they're very smart, they're very productive, it's fantastic, all other things being equal, you'd like to have as many of them in your country, but like, is that really why we're doing, the set-aside programs?
The way Africans are taking over needs to be studied. From culture to music to education, there's always an African that's excelling in their respective field. And it makes you proud to be African, for real. Nigerian specifically. It definitely is refreshing to see though, because growing up, that wasn't always the case. I remember people used to be ashamed to be African, especially with all the negative stereotypes associated with them. But now it's like we wear it a badge of honor, and it's something to be proud about. If you have an African in your life, tell them you love them and that they're special, because they are. They're African.
So African migrants went to City Hall and said that Americans are not doing enough.
Very upset about it because I was not thinking it would be like this because lack of shelter, a lack of many things, let me say, lack of job.
But she says the city should be providing more assistance.
What I expect to have like a help from American people.
So they want green cards so they can work, longer stays at shelters, and they brought all these complaints to the City Hall Council. But there's a spot in Harlem called Little Africa, and there's a lot of African business and restaurants in that area. We even call it Little Africa. I'm not saying they're doing good, but they have a community. And they then took over the food delivery business. Mainly all the door dashers in Manhattan are now African. And I know a lot of African security guards. And to be truthful, there's probably just as much African migrants that there are South American. So we'll just wait to see what happens.
If you're African American, you need to have this necklace. This is the African American heritage flag. And guys, I've seen so many different flags on necklaces. I've never seen one with the African American heritage flag. And especially it is Black History Month. I think we should have this not only on Black History Month, but throughout the year. I absolutely love this, and the price is phenomenal, and it's stainless steel and it has not tarnished. I've had this for about 6 months now and I absolutely love it. I'm gonna link it for you in the orange card. I hope it is still on sale, and I know that they have free shipping. So right here, orange card.
Now I'm aware that you uploaded this video in February. However, it came across my feed today, so I'm addressing it today. What makes you think it's acceptable to sell Black American merchandise and you're not Black American? Mind you, you called it an African American flag. That's not the name of the flag. It's literally called the Black American Heritage Flag. Now, I'm one of the nice ones. Well, actually, we're all pretty nice. But when the rest of them see this, they're going to get on your ass. So I suggest you take the video down and you stop selling that in your TikTok shop. And if you want to sell something, sell your own nation's flag chain. Do that. But I understand why you're not doing it, because Black American culture is more profitable. Black Americans bring in more dollars, and that's why you did it. I suggest you take this down, because they're not going to let up when they see this.
Us, like, we're from Sierra Leone. My mom moved here in the 80s. And like, a lot of the Sierra Leoneans that grew up here, and that happens for like other African cultures. Like, the Africans here, you're doing well. The Nigerians are doing well. The Liberians, like a lot of people are doing well, but it's really, you're essentially the cream of the crop. You were like the top of the top. You were the elites in your country, and you're coming here and you're saying like, oh, look at us. We're all doing well. And you're you're essentially comparing the top 10, 20, 30% of the people from your nation with everybody that's Black American, whether they're elite, so it's like, it's not a fair comparison at all, because we're comparing the cream of the crop. Like, we're predisposed to being more successful as Africans in America, because you wouldn't be here if you didn't have privilege.
Exactly.
And then you're taking that and comparing it to all Black Americans, and it's not a fair comparison. And we got to be real as Africans and make sure that we call that out.
Yeah.
You got to call it out. So you can't just sit here and talk down on Black Americans, saying, oh, because there's a lot of Black Americans that are doing very well. So if you compare their top 10% or 20% to the Africans, like, they're probably doing better. So it's like, you can't even, but you don't want to have that conversation. So we got to be very real.
Yep.
And make sure it's apples to apples.
Residents in Lockland, Ohio, they're saying that their small town of 3,500 people, 1 mile wide, is starting to look a lot like Africa. About 3,000 of them, Mauritanian Africans, have arrived in Lockland, Ohio, this small town, men, grown men, and they crossed the border illegally, can't work, and they're seeking asylum. But somehow they have shelter. They have shelter. And there's 20 of them in an apartment, and it's not sanitary. You got crap running down walls. You got fires. The police department, they don't know how to cook. Never used the stove or anything. This town is crying out for help from our federal government, and they're not even answering the call. Take a look at it.
3,000 men from the West African country of Mauritania have come to this small town after crossing the southern border illegally and claiming asylum. Nearly all of the Mauritanians don't speak English, they can't legally work, and for housing, they are packing as many as 20 people into apartments meant for 2 to 4. And because so many of them have never used an oven before, the fire department is now regularly responding to kitchen fires like this one, where hundreds of people had to be evacuated. The massive influx of people is also taking a big toll on the city's utilities, particularly at these apartment buildings.
The sewer system is getting backed up, the drainage is getting backed up in the building, and then when we're responding for issues of, literally feces running down the walls of the bathrooms from the floor above. That's not how anyone should be living.
One woman who lives in one of the apartment buildings and didn't want to be on camera says the sudden flood of people from a third world country has changed her small town tremendously, and that Americans like her who are struggling to get by are now being left behind by the federal government.
It's awful. Everywhere you turn, you might as well be in Africa. I've been trying to find a 2-bedroom I can afford. But it's tough being a single mom and a single grandma, especially when the government don't help you. They've got too many immigrants to help.
And city officials say calls to the federal government for help dealing with this influx of migrants so far have been unanswered. Bill?
Ira, thank you for that. We'll wait for the next town you visit, right? Lockland, Ohio. Thank you.
Right now, reporters are gathered at Mar-a-Lago, where former President Trump is about to speak exactly 1 week before Election Day, when voters coast to coast head to the polls to choose the nation's next commander-in-chief. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino.
How we doing?
I'm just stunned by the Garrett Tenney report. I'm like having a moment.
Yeah. Like the population of the village is 3,400, and the number of Mauritanian men who have been
placed there
is 3,000.
Unbelievable.
I know we are very critical on Hispanic and Latino immigrants, but one group we do not touch is the Africans. All right? When our people or Black Americans were fighting in them streets during the civil rights movement for rights, for economic resources, when our HBCUs were fighting for scraps, our U.S. government, led by Lyndon B. Johnson, was sending hundreds of millions of dollars to Africa to bring them here. In 1962, there were still African nations coming into the United States on a ship. Not with chains. They were looking like this. Let's bring up the photo. I want you guys to really look at this picture, because I know many of you have heard that typically probably from the older Africans, that they came here with nothing, right? They came here with scraps and just whatever they had in their pocket. Well, look at this. This is a ship coming from Africa to New York in 1962. Yes. And I really want you to look at this. Does this look like poor people? They have suits, ties, jackets, briefcases, nice glasses. And for the most part, they're standing right next to white people. Though in the United States, black Americans were not standing this close to white people because of segregation. Okay? Let's go to this next photo. Look at this. Look how poor they were, y'all. They call this poor right here. They call this scraps. Nice clothes, right? Briefcase. Look like they have some maps or something like that. Jackets. Don't look nothing like black Americans, but here they are. Next. Look at that. Next. Oh, wow. Inside of a home with white people, drinking tea, having a good time during segregated America.
Shout out to this black American brother. He is saying the truth. One thing that I want y'all black Americans to understand is that these Africans who are coming to your country are not poor. The Africans who can afford to leave Africa and go to the USA are not poor. It takes a lot to be able to arrive there. You've got to have money for the documentation fees, including visa application fees. You've got to have money for the airplane ticket. You've got to have money to show the bank statement, to show to the US Migration Office. They check your bank statement and see whether you have enough money. Then it can support you in case you've got any problem there in the USA. That is why I'm telling you that many of these Africans who are in your country are not poor. Another thing that I want you all to understand is that Africans living here in Africa, talking about the normal Africans who have never left Africa, they don't hate you. They don't hate black Americans. In fact, they praise black Americans. I remember last month I was having a conversation with my African brother, and I was very curious to understand what he thinks about black Americans. But the way he idealized black Americans, the way he thinks about black Americans, if you all hear that, you will be shocked. They know black Americans in their music, they know black American players, they know black Americans, they know black American movie actors. That's all they know about black Americans. All of this disrespect that y'all are seeing from some African brothers and sisters are not coming from Africans living here. They are coming from Africans who have left Africa and go to the USA and live with y'all for a while. We often hear these Africans saying that y'all black Americans are lazy because you're not grabbing opportunities in your country and be able to use them to make money. And they think that those opportunities were just created by nobody. And then they are aware that those opportunities that they all chase there in the USA were created by human beings. Those opportunities were created by Americans. That people have fought hard to make those opportunities become available to all Africans living in the USA. If you look at a country like China or South Korea, these countries were very poor in the 60s. They were very, very poor. But their people, they took their hands out of their pocket. They worked so hard to make it possible to be where they are. They brought opportunities in their countries. Now we are seeing many Africans going to South Korea, going to China, just to chase those opportunities. A simple message that I can give to your Africans, telling black Americans that they are lazy, is that opportunities are created by people. And it is very possible for y'all to create opportunities in your respective countries. Instead of accusing black Americans of not taking advantage of the opportunities in their country, you better go create opportunities in your countries and then tell them that we are able to create opportunities in our countries and then prove that you can do the same as what black Americans did in their country. I cannot support people who are wrong. Even though I am an African, I cannot be on the side of these Africans because they are wrong. They're very wrong. They leave their countries. They go to the USA without having an intention of assimilating. They don't have an intention of assimilating, brothers and sisters, I'm telling you. Their goal is very simple. Leave Africa, go to the USA, make as much money as possible, send back home, buy properties, buy houses, help your family members, take your siblings to school, and then when you are old, in your 50s, in your 60s, go back to Africa without leaving anything behind. And I can't say that it is wrong. It is their right. But at least respect the people who made it possible to even go there. Respect Black Americans. Respect the owners of the country. Because if it wasn't them, you couldn't be able to go there. You couldn't access those opportunities. Yes, go there with whatever intentions that you have. But at least don't disrespect these people. Because they deserve respect. And this is a message I've been telling you all Africans. Because you are seeing the way you are all being hit by deportation. And these Black Americans seem to be happy. It is because of the kind of disrespect that you have been showing them. Now, you're Black Americans. Africans are not a monolith. Don't put all of them in the same box. There are many Africans who respect you all. And that's why I tend to tell y'all Black Americans not to put all Africans in the same box. That was my opinions, that was my take on these clips. You have watched them, and I know you've got a lot to say about these people, and that is why I'm opening the comment section for y'all to tell me what you think. Anything constructive, feel free to drop down there in the comment section. That was it for today. Your African brother, Mr. TA, signing off. Ciao.